Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Ben McWilliams from Christ Chapel Bible Church in Fort Worth. Dr. Williams, thank you very much for coming out. Dr. Williams is in his second career. His first career was as an OBGYN doctor here in Fort Worth, and we appreciate your service in both those careers.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and give the invocation. Proverbs 19:20-21 says, "Listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future. Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand." Easy advice to give, hard to follow, I know. Please join me in prayer. Well, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for each commissioner and for Judge Whitley as they come together this morning to serve the community. It's a difficult task, and I pray that you empower them to do it with integrity and justice. Grant them the wisdom, the foresight to listen carefully and respectfully to each speaker and to each other. May they be motivated by the truly greater good for all concerned. Where genuine differences occur, give them the patience and the integrity to seek as fair and as equitable a solution as is humanly possible. Please guide their deliberations and decisions with your wisdom and for your ultimate purposes. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have three announcements relating to today's agenda. The first one is under the public hearings section, item 8A. We inadvertently put that on the consent agenda. We're going to ask that we take that off the consent agenda, but consider it whenever you get to that particular point in the agenda. Also, as it relates to purchasing, item 9G1. This is bid number 2017-091, the sale of recycled paper. There was a revised court communication in your red folder this morning. Also under purchasing, the next item, item G2. This is bid 2017-072. We're going to ask that we hold that for 1 week. And then finally, members of the court, just a reminder that next week on the 18th, that Commissioners Court starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. And also on the 25th, which is 2 weeks from today, we will not be holding court. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a lot of great things going on in Tarrant County, and today we're going to have an opportunity to recognize several of those things. So with that, I am going to begin by reading a proclamation regarding our USS Fort Worth and Commander Michelle Falzone. I want you to come forward as I read this into the record. Whereas on May the 12th, 2016, Commander Michelle Falzone assumed command of LCS Crew 102 of the USS Fort Worth, and whereas Commander Falzone is the first woman to captain the USS Fort Worth and only the second woman to captain an LCS, and whereas Captain Falzone earned a Bachelor of Science degree in biology from Vanderbilt University in 1998 and recently completed the Command and Staff College course at the Marine Corps University in Quantico, Virginia, and whereas Commander Falzone served as flag aide on the staff of the USS Second Fleet and as an action officer in the Director's Staff Group of the Joint IED Defeat Organization, and whereas before completing her division officer tours above the USS Ticonderoga as First Lieutenant and USS John C. Stennis, CVN 74, as Machinery Division Officer, Commander Falzone served department head tours in the USS Elrod and combat systems officer, and in the USS Enterprise as forward station officer. And whereas Commander Falzone made 4 sea tours, which included supporting counter-narcotics in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, Operation Active Endeavor in the Mediterranean Sea as a part of standing NATO Maritime Group 1, and 2 tours in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in the Iberian Sea. And whereas throughout her years of service, Commander Falzone, Arabian Sea, and whereas throughout her years of service, Commander Falzone has been awarded the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal, 4 Navy Commendation Medals, 3 Navy Achievement Medals, as well as various other service medals and unit awards. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim April 11th, 2017 as Commander Michelle Falzone Day in Tarrant County. And further, we congratulate Commander Michelle Falzone on her many accomplishments and thank her for her commitment and service to our country. In witness whereof, we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of April 2017, and I move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commander, thank you very much for your service. And I also have somewhere here, I think, if I can get it out here, a county courthouse pin that that's kind of our symbol. So I'm going to present you with this, I'm going to present you with this, and then allow you for any comments that you might want to make. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge, and the court. Never would have imagined, 40-some-odd years ago when my parents gave birth to me, that I would be here today. I've spent the last 3 days in Fort Worth. This is my actual first visit to the state of Texas, first official visit to the state of Texas. And I've just been amazed by all of the cowboys and culture and the grit and tenacity of the people. And the USS Fort Worth proudly bears the name of this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, I am going to have to go back and check, but I believe, I know that in the past, all of the Commissioners Court members have been a part of the Anchors Club. I'm not sure that the city of Fort Worth can make that statement now or in the past, and a few of y'all may need to write a check so that I can continue to say that all of the Commissioners Court are members of the Anchors Club. So, again, thank you very much for being here today. And that's not something that just the Commissioners Court. There's several other folks here in the room that I would be glad to enlist into the Anchors Club. That is one of the organizations that we use to support the crews that are on board the USS Fort Worth. And we send them a lot of stuff. We send them barbecue sauce. We send them all kinds of goodies. And we send them to them on a pretty regular basis. And while we have, I guess, is the crew size, is it still around the 50 mark, 50, 55?
It's actually increased to about 70.
Now, does that include the extra folks that are on there?
Yes.
And see, what we said is there's a lot of support people who go on the ship when it's deployed. The crew is one side, but we've decided as a group of supporters that there was no way we could send packages just to the crew and not also support all of the other folks that were on the ship. And so through the contributions of the members of the Anchor Club and other organizations that are out there working, Ron Parrish there and Kristen, work here to help make sure that we help not only the crew, but also some of their families back home and support them. And so any of y'all who would like to make and become an Anchor Club member, that's a annual contribution of $1,000, and I'll be glad to come around and collect any checks that might be missing at this time, and help y'all to be a part of the Anchors Club.
Judge, weren't you in the Navy?
I was. I was at Navy Dallas.
Were you a commander, Judge?
No, I was a little P3, and then I think I finally got up to be third class. I was, I was air control, but I was out at Navy Dallas. My dad spent 18 years at Navy Dallas, and so it's now over in the Joint Reserve Base, the crews that were over there. So, again, Commander, thank you very much for being here today. Next, we have Julie Evans is here with Alliance for Children. Julie, would you please come forward, and I will read this proclamation into the record. Whereas Texas children are our future and our greatest resource, and whereas child abuse is one of our nation's most serious public health problems and threatens the safety of our community, and whereas in Tarrant County, 12,469 investigations were completed in 2016, and 5,162 children were confirmed as victims of child abuse and neglect. And whereas every child deserves a nurturing family and a safe environment to grow into a healthy, productive member of the community, and whereas finding solutions to prevent child abuse is a community responsibility and depends on involvement of all citizens, and whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs that benefit children and their families, and whereas effective child abuse prevention, investigation, and treatment programs succeed because of partnerships among public and private agencies, schools, religious organizations, medical services, and the business community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2017 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Tarrant County. And further, we urge all citizens to be aware of signs of child abuse and act to protect the children of Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of April 2017, and I'll move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I think we ought to make every one of them. Well, I don't know about, yeah, come on down.
If you're here and working with child abuse, we'd love to take pictures with you. So this is a collaboration. Please join us and.
Come on. He's going to scoot behind you and he's going to move that. Okay, let's back it up a little bit, and that way we can spread out. He's going to get my picture here, but not careful. Y'all come. And then we'll turn around and take a picture of everybody else. Because as you heard in the resolution, we want everybody. No, right here. You're in my court now.
It's now already. Okay, ready?
I'll just keep smiling and smiling like it's
1, 2, 3.
Oh, we got two of them more. Like I said, keep smiling, it's Christmas. That it? All right. Thank all of y'all. Thank you very much. Do you want to say something now that he's going to heal? He does good at moving that podium. We keep him around for that.
Well, thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you so much for, again, standing with us in recognition that child abuse is something that doesn't have to happen. Child abuse is something that shouldn't happen. Last year, we stood before you and acknowledged that 6,000 children had been a confirmed victim of child abuse in Tarrant County. And so while 5,000 is still way too many, the projection and the momentum going downward is something that we want to celebrate, and we want to acknowledge that it's going in the right direction. But as the proclamation said, that's only possible in collaboration. This work is not done in a silo. This work is done across governmental entities, across public-private partnerships, nonprofits, business, faith leaders, each committing to this being a priority. And we know that that's something that each of you show in your leadership to make this issue one that is one we can talk about and acknowledge, because in secret it doesn't change. So thank you for being willing to do that. Thank you for supporting each of these agencies that you saw today and many more that are doing exceedingly challenging work every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next is Stop the Bleed, and I believe we have Lori Clarita, and as usual, I'm sure I misspelled that or mispronounced that name. So, where's Lori? And she's not even here. Okay, well, is someone here from Stop the Bleed Training Awareness Day? Then I am going to move its approval.
Second.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And now I believe it is Commissioner Brooks's turn.
Thank you, Your Honor. You are all aware, because you all wore teal last Tuesday, that it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. In addition to last Tuesday's observance, this past Saturday, we had the Victory Over Violence Walk and Run. And just let me tell you, that 5K winning time was an event record, and it's one of the fastest 5Ks I've ever seen. I believe it was 14 minutes and 45 seconds.
Did you run it?
Of course I didn't. I'm still alive. At any rate, we've got a proclamation recognizing Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. And, Your Honor, I'd like to ask you to read it into the record.
Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month is recognized during the month of April to raise awareness and increase outreach efforts focusing on the root causes of sexual violence and the realities of rape in our communities. And whereas more than 6.3 million adults in Texas experience some sort of sexual assault in their lifetime, with 70% of the sexual assaults committed by a perpetrator known or related to the victim, while 65% of the victims report multiple assaults. And whereas incorporating the community's existing experts and trusted sources of support into efforts to serve victims will develop an accessible criminal justice system appropriate for all victims of sexual assault. And whereas the Women's Center Rape Crisis and Victim Services Program works to prevent sexual violence and child sexual abuse in Tarrant County and helps child and adult victims heal from the trauma of assault and abuse. And whereas the Women's Center strives to prevent sexual violence in our community through the Play It Safe Child Sexual Abuse Prevention Program, which is provided free of charge to over 135,000 Tarrant County children each year. And whereas the Women's Center offers a comprehensive, compassionate, and trauma-informed continuum of care, including crisis intervention, clinical counseling, case management, criminal justice accompaniment, and legal services. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2017 as Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month in Tarrant County, And further, we reaffirm this county's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of April 2017.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
This morning, we have with us Laura Hilgart, President and CEO of the Women's Center of Tarrant County, and Francine McQueen, just because. Would y'all join me at the podium, please?
Told you, you got to treat it like Christmas. Just keep on smiling.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners, for recognizing the importance of sexual assault prevention. Can you hear me? Sexual assault prevention and awareness. You know, based on the statistics that Commissioner Brooks just read, 33% of Texans experience sexual assault in their lifetime. 33%. And we know the devastating impact that sexual assault can have on survivors. But the good news, and as Julie alluded to, Tarrant County is a very proactive and collaborative community. Together, public and private organizations, many of whom are represented here today, and I won't ask us to take a picture, but if you work at all in the field of sexual assault and sexual abuse prevention and awareness, will you please stand? These are criminal justice professionals. This is law enforcement. This is nonprofit organization. This is our county hospital. These are schools. These are faith-based organizations. This is our juvenile justice system. Together, we prevent sexual assault. We hold perpetrators accountable. We bring justice for victims, and we help survivors heal and take back their lives. So we are creating a safer community. Safer college campuses, safer workplaces, safer public spaces, and safer homes. On behalf of all of us who do this work, and on behalf especially of survivors, thank you for your support, and thank you for this proclamation.
Thank you. Now for just a little break in the action before we begin with your four, I'm going to go back and ask the court to approve the minutes.
So move.
Yeah, you guys thought you were going to catch me on that one, didn't you?
We
Please
did,
vote.
we just didn't mention it.
Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, I have a proclamation for Donor Memory Garden. If you would read that into the record, please.
You bet. Whereas one of the most meaningful gifts that one human being can give to another is the precious gift of life, sight, and health. And whereas the need for corneas and tissues surpasses the number donated each year, and whereas Lions Club International of District 2E2 and UT Southwestern Medical Center Transplant Services provide sight and tissue services in Tarrant County and surrounding counties of North Texas. And whereas over the years, Lions Club International District 2E2 and UT Southwestern Medical Center Transplant Services have facilitated the contributions of 1,005 donors, resulting in 1,160 cornea recipients and over 16,365 tissue and skin grafts. And whereas the above named groups recognize and do hereby acknowledge by the Memory Garden and the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens and the spring event, the role of transplant medicine and donor families in community medicine. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim April 15th, 2017 as the Garden of Life Spring Celebration Day throughout Tarrant County. And further, that we hereby recognize that these efforts and those of all donor families are a vital part in the circle of care for all our citizens by making transplantation possible. And further, that we congratulate Lions Club International on its 100th anniversary. In witness whereof, we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of April 2017.
I move for its approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And I'd like to ask Lion Suzanne Henderson, the past district governor of Lions, to meet me at the podium to receive this proclamation.
And I'm sure almost everybody knows, but she's also the past county clerk and served our county very well for many, many years. Thank you, Suzanne.
Suzanne, good to see you again. Congratulations and thanks for what you do. Let's get a picture. And any comments you would like to make?
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson, and thank the court for your continuing support of the Lions Club International in District 282 with our annual event at the Garden of Life, where we recognize donors and recipients for the past year. On a personal note, I'd like to thank each one of you for your service to Tarrant County and for keeping us on the cutting edge. And congratulations to Commissioner Brooks for coming in and being president of NACO this year. I'm so proud of you. And the second one to be a NACO from Tarrant County. I was here serving when Judge Whitley was was president. What a terrific opportunity that was to be part of the celebration. So congratulations to you, and thank you for your service and for keeping Tarrant County #1 county in this nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
I have a proclamation for Pizza Ranch 20th anniversary. If you would read that into the record, please.
Whereas Pizza Ranch began in 1997 as an educational event created by the members of the Extension Food and Fiber Committee to enhance our young people's understanding of science of agriculture, and whereas Pizza Ranch has become Tarrant County's premier agricultural appreciation event, helping elementary school children from across Tarrant County learn the science behind the production of their favorite food, pizza. And whereas originally the Pizza Ranch included dairy, wheat, vegetables, herbs, pork, beef, and chicken. However, the planning committee soon saw the benefit of adding health nutrition and food safety to the students' experiences. And this year, Pizza Ranch has expanded their menu to include fresh carrots and apples along with their pizza. And whereas over 5,000 elementary students, their teachers, and parent chaperones will participate in this year's Pizza Ranch with live exhibitions and education sessions related to the science of agriculture. And whereas since its inception, over 86,000 Tarrant County students have learned more about where their food comes from through their Pizza Ranch experience. And whereas the Pizza Ranch program has spread across various parts of the state of Texas, while Oklahoma and Tennessee have adopted the highly successful program. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim April 19th and 20th, 2017, as Pizza Ranch Days in Tarrant County. And further, we acknowledge the founders, sponsors, donors, committee members, volunteers, and extension staff that make Pizza Ranch possible. In witness whereof, we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of April 2017.
And I move for its approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our AgriLife Extension Director, Joan Jacobson, and Robbie Robertson, Chair of the Tarrant County Food and Fiber Committee, will be present to receive this plaque. If you'd meet me at the podium, please. And I want to tell you, I'm usually up there getting a slice of that pizza. Every year, some chocolate milk, you bet.
Let me do the green scarlets for a break. Yeah, I will.
John, thanks y'all for putting on this program for the kids every year. And any comments you'd like to make to the court, please do so.
Okay, thank you.
You want me to do
Sure. Well,
it? Go ahead.
okay. Well, we really, really appreciate the Tarrant County support for this. We appreciate the support of the Commissioner's Court. We appreciate the support of the different county departments, the Sheriff's Department, the Facilities Department, the Precinct 4, have all helped us since the beginning, and we appreciate that very much. And I'd like to recognize also our volunteers that have helped out with Pizza Ranch.
Y'all stand up.
The people that are here today have been with us for 20 years. And the staff, the extension staff who've been volunteering with Pizza Ranch, if you could stand up, please.
Y'all stand. Don't be bashful. Thank y'all very much for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson.
I have one more resolution for National Volunteer Month. If you would read that into the record, please.
Whereas citizens who volunteer their time provide assistance which cannot be measured in terms of dollars, and their dedication to making this community a better place to live is the foundation for economic development, environmental stewardship, and healthy living. And whereas our Tarrant County Extension Volunteer Force is a great treasure with 1,314 volunteers who donated over 71,100 volunteer hours last year, which is the equivalent to 34 full-time employees. And whereas volunteers can connect with community service opportunities in Tarrant County's Ag Life Extension as Master Gardeners, 4-H adult leaders, Program Area Committee members, Texas Extension Education Association members, Master Wellness volunteers, and Leadership Advisory Board members. And whereas the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension relies on our dedicated volunteers who serve as 4-H adult leaders to be role models and provide wholesome youth activities that build leadership, character, and life skills. And whereas Teresa Womble, a longtime supporter of youth and the 4-H program, has served as a club manager for the very active Straight Shooters 4-H Club, as well as treasurer for the Tarrant 4-H Adult Leaders Association. And whereas she also assists with more than 20 county-level events and activities on an annual basis, where youth thrive under her leadership as she inspires compassion and encourages others to make positive differences through service. And whereas Teresa has brought honor to Tarrant County by receiving the Emerald Award of 4-H Excellence in Leadership and the Texas 4-H Salute to Excellence Award, now therefore be it resolved that we commend Teresa Womble and all the dedicated Extension volunteers for their service to the people of Tarrant County in honor of Volunteer Recognition Month. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of April, 2017.
I move for its approval.
Second. We have a motion, a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
I'd like to ask Joan Jacobson if she would come back up along with Teresa Wumble, to receive this plaque. Congratulations to you. Great honor. And any comments you'd like to make, feel free to do so.
I am not great at off the cuff, so I've prepared just a couple of notes, but I must admit I'm a bit floored by what you actually read off. I thought I was accepting for all of the volunteers, not just me specifically.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. As a 7-year 4-H volunteer, I've had the pleasure of watching youth grow and come into their own. While 4-H offers a myriad of projects, it's the underlying theme that's important. We believe in making leaders of tomorrow from their passions of today. Speaking for myself, the greatest personal satisfaction comes not from being recognized for my efforts, but witnessing the growth and confidence of these 4-H youth. My children have aged out of the program, but I stay, and I venture to say that a lot of us stay because of the youth themselves. With each accomplishment, the physical transformation is profound. The youth stand a little straighter, make eye contact a little more, and gain a self-confidence that can only be found in personal achievement. Thank you today for this honor, but most importantly, thank you for your support of our Tarrant County 4-H program.
You know, we talk often about what a great place Tarrant County is to live and to raise a family. And I truly believe it's not because of government, it's not because of whether it be city, county, or schools, it's because of volunteers like you. Because if we tried to take over all of this, first off, we couldn't afford to. But secondly, we couldn't do near the job that you who have a passion for whichever area you happen to be working in. You have that passion, and you go out and you give of your time. You certainly don't get compensated for it, and more times than not, it costs you. Like I know all of y'all who are sitting here today are paying parking out there someplace. And I just can't tell you how much it means to all of the citizens of Tarrant County. And it really does make this such a much greater place to live and to raise the family. So I wish that we could do more. But right now, what we really want to tell you is we genuinely appreciate all of the hours that you give to make this a better place, to be able to watch those kids as they grow and to have that satisfaction within that maybe we contributed a little bit through your volunteer efforts or through whatever you may be doing and whoever you may be touching at the time to make this a little bit better place to live. So again, thank you so much, all of you volunteers, all of you who I know volunteer in so many different ways. In the county, we talk about the county folks. You're through the Tarrant County the Junior Livestock. We all find things that we're passionate about, and it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. So thank you very, very much. And Commissioner Johnson, I think we have one other person, but I think it's a ratification.
For ratification only, it's a certificate of appreciation for Curtis Fartenberry, who served on our Sheriff Civil Service Board for many years.
So again, someone who's volunteered to do that which they didn't have to do. So you're moving approval of that ratification?
I do.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have a group of folks.
And I believe Curtis.
Oh, was Curtis here?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I
Would
thought.
you stand to be recognized?
Curtis,
thank you
I
very
apologize
much for your service.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for your service.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have a group of folks that you'd like to introduce today.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, as you so eloquently stated, leadership development is done through community service and volunteering, not just academic exercise. And the Richard Green Scholarship Program is one of such program. It is focused on the development of leadership capabilities and capacities through community service. And it is supported by the Texas Rangers, which we are all very, very familiar with. And this morning, we have the pleasure of welcoming 6 scholars from the program. The group is led by Ms. Diane Brewer, who is the internship and co-op coordinator from Arlington High School. Would you please stand, please? The scholars were selected at the end of their junior year to receive $10,000 in scholarship to help them with their college. And then in the senior year, they would rotate to various organizations, and Tarrant County was selected to be among those institutions to help cultivate the future leaders of Tarrant County. So I would love to have the opportunity to introduce these young men and women. And as I call your name, would you please stand and please stay standing, okay? All right. First, Ms. Grace Ramsey from Arlington High School. She is the president of her debate team and captain of her speech team. And she wants to major in economic and political science. She has 9 offers from 9 different colleges, but she's still undecided. So that's Grace Ramsey. Next is Brian Giamphy from Bowie High School. He has selected UT Austin, and he wants to major in psychology, sociology, and then law school, right? And then Ms. Diana Omangi from Lamar High School. She wants to study allied health, right? And she has decided to attend Texas A&M. And then Mr. Ishan Pinto from Martin High School.
Go Warriors.
He wants to major in finance, and he has decided to attend UT Austin, and he wants to be an investment banker. All right. Miss Julie Tran from Sam Houston High School. She wants to major in biomedical engineering. She has been offered multiple scholarships. Among them include 2 full-ride scholarships to Yale and TCU, though she has not made up her mind yet which institution to go to. Do you have any
Come on, Julie.
persuasion for her? TCU and Yale.
I'm not even going to get into that. Horned Frogs are looking. When's the last time Yale's won a football game? Probably about the same time as Texas won a football game.
Yale doesn't own the team.
Well, I guess that's right.
And last but certainly not least is Mr. Ramsey Tame. He's from Jordan, and he wants to major in healthcare studies, and he wants to become a pediatrician, and he has selected UT Dallas. So thank you. And please sit. And as you attend your college and graduate school and launch your career, just keep this in mind. It is not what you get that define you. It is what you give that really define you. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
Well, it has been a great morning so far, and before we get into the business, I'd like to maybe think that we ought to just adjourn and go home.
I'll second.
I figured you would. No, thank y'all all very much. It has been a great day. We've talked about some great things. We have challenges. that we still have to address, but with these young folks and with the volunteers that we have, I feel very hopeful that we'll be able to continue to make progress on the issues and the challenges that we have, not only here in Tarrant County, but really throughout the world. The diversity, Arlington talks very much now about the diversity that community has. And we see that here today, and I challenge you that as we go forward, that we continue to work and learn more about our neighbor, wherever that neighbor may be from or whatever that neighbor may be doing. Thank y'all. We are going to just kind of pause for a couple of minutes and then we'll get started again, but we got a lot of folks that I feel like are probably not going to be interested in staying around and listening to us talk about the consent agenda. So we'll take just a minute. Thank y'all.
It's been fun and positive.
Sure, sure. Court members, you have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval with the exception of the item that has been withdrawn.
Second.
A motion second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We now have a public hearing.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Requesting we have a public hearing to consider the 2017 Community Development, Home, and ESG action plans. I will tell you that we are under a continuing resolution, so we do not have an allocation for the upcoming year. We're using the allocation from last year to base our numbers on, and with those numbers, we are planning to fund 13 public infrastructure projects for $4 million, 47 housing rehabilitation projects for $800,000, fund 7 emergency shelters for $125,000, and spend $67,000 on prevention and $350,000 on housing development. Once we receive an allocation, we will come back to the Commissioners Court to put numbers to our plan. The deadline for the continuing resolution is April 28th. That's the allocation for HUD. Once it gets down to individual grants, it could be June, but we will make you aware at that time.
So at this point in time, no action is needed.
Just to receive input.
So what I'll do is I'll open the public hearing at this point in time and ask if there's anyone here wishing to speak to this matter.
I've got a question. The dollars that are for prevention, prevention of what?
Homelessness, I'm sorry.
Is there anyone else here from the public that would like to speak? There being none, then I will close the public hearing, and again, no action is necessary at this time.
No, sir. Thank you very much. We'll come back when we do have numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Manius, you have no action item. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Over to Ms. Glenn.
Good morning, I'm paying attention.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Great. So the first item that we have for the court, we're asking the court to receive and file the personnel agenda.
So move.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item, we're asking the court to approve a table of organization change for the county clerk in the IT department. Ms. Garcia has agreed to transfer her IT department over to IT, consistent with the effort that we've had underway to house all of those positions in IT. As part of the transfer, this position will be reclassified as explained in your court communique. We are looking at a cost for the reclass to the Record Preservations Fund of a little bit more than $4,000.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion?
And thank you for doing that, Mary Louise.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our third item, again, this is a request for change to table of organization, this time for CCC 7. Judge Hardy is requesting the transfer of a sheriff's judge's bailiff to her court effective April the 15th. The Texas Government Code does allow for the judge to appoint one judge's bailiff, and so she's exercising her right to do so.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
So our next item, we're asking the court to approve amendment number 9 to the Administrative Services Agreement between MHN Services and Tarrant County. The court may recall that in August of last year, we came to you and you approved all of our plan administrators and benefits for this year. MHN is one of those providers. This is a one-year agreement that's effective January 1st, 2017. We're estimating the fiscal impact to be $165,310.
312.
165,312. Yes, sir.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our last item, this time we're asking the court to approve amendment number 14 to our senior supplement plan, and also amendment 11 to our Medicare Advantage plan. As the court recalls, these are two benefit plans that we offer to our seniors. These amendments simply detail the rates for 2017, which the court approved again in August of last year. We're estimating the fiscal impact for these two plans in 2017 to be approximately $4,400,000, and that represents the county and retiree contributions.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham, I don't know whether to ask you or to ask Mr. Phillips. I've thought about setting up a little stand selling sunscreen for those about to get into the elevators.
Yes, indeed.
And I don't know if I need to address that to which one of you, but we thought that might be a little fundraiser for our United Way efforts.
That would be a facilities issue.
It's a good thing you weren't up here today.
Seriously, they're too bright.
Go right ahead, Mr. Beecham.
We have 3 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2017-091, the sale of recycled paper. Our recommendation be awarded to the high bidder, Pinnacle Recycling, for purchasing our cardboard at the rate of $186.26 per ton.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Let's skip to number 3. It's a bid award recommendation for bid 2017-082. Annual contract for purchase of truck-mounted telescopic boom hydraulic excavators for use in all precincts. Recommendation would be toward a per enterprise basis, awarding to Kirby Smith Machinery.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our last item is an item in regards to RFP 2017-070, RFP for the aerial application of pesticides for mosquito control. We are recommending rejection of both proposals and seeking permission to rebid with revised specifications. One vendor did not sign the addendum. The other took issue with our insurance requirements. It's able to go back on the street immediately.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any
I have a
discussion?
How long is it going to take to go back for a rebid?
We're ready to roll. Probably a historical statement. We always look at the state of Texas contracts. They are very inconsistent in how they award them, when they award them, if they award them. That is all across the board for most of the commodities that we would be able to purchase from their contracts.
Okay.
There's an existing contract that's available with Fort Bend County that we could interlocal with them if we needed to, so it should be back on the street today,
Okay, good. Thank you.
or this week, rather, excuse me.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have an interlocal.
I do. It is for work in the city of Benbrook. I move approval of item, whatever it is,
9I1 A and B.
1 A and B.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Fickus.
I do also have a interlocal with the town of Westlake for work on Dove Road, and I'd like to move approval for I-2, A and B.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson.
I have an interlocal agreement with Fort Worth Independent School District. I would move for approval of item 9I3, A and B.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments today? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims including the.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 3 items to bring to you this morning. The first is the monthly update from the hospital district. Mr. Early is here to address the court at this time.
Mr. Manius.
Good editorial, or good whatever it was you wrote.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate that. I know that y'all are so committed to trying to figure out how we spend our tax dollars wisely, and the fact that you can't put people, the sheriff can't keep putting people behind a jail cell and think that that's going to solve our mental issues and our psychiatric issues. So I appreciate that, and thank you all. That is also going to go out state. It has gone out statewide, and I think it'll be appearing in El Paso and Houston and other places. But I know your firm commitment to that, and many of the others on the court. I, too, want to thank you all for what you do, and I don't think you, as elected officials, get enough credit for the volunteer work that you do, recognizing the youth and our leaders of tomorrow, what you do with people that are incarcerated, that many people would rather walk away from than address. You deal with the work that you do with the youth, the work that you do with the military, and Commander Falzone just makes you feel low. I mean, I don't know what you do in your day, but you can't imagine what that lady does, and what a powerful person. So she's something to aspire to, and I hope the youth that were here today that you recognize will see what great leadership we have in our military and what a wonderful woman that is. And then you got people like Laura Helgart at the Women's Center, who do so much for this community, and you all support them. You know, we get 600 sexual assault cases at JPS, and we have a unit to deal just with that. We tend to be the unfortunate infantry for that individual who is at their worst and most delicate points, both psychologically and oftentimes physically, and we see those individuals, and I can't applaud the team we have at JPS any more than the incredible work that they do of reaching out to that individual who has been put in a place that nobody would ask for, nobody would want, and every one of us would pray does not happen to those we love. So I'm very proud of the JPS team and the 600 cases that they see, but I'm proud of the work that y'all do in recognizing people in the community, because that's important. And I thought the first part of this meeting was incredibly important. And there's probably a lot of counties that don't take the time to do what y'all do, and they would brush some of that stuff off, and you don't, and I appreciate it very much. Wanted to also tell you, my report is a little bit briefer today because I know you've got a briefing item up after this that's important, but I did want to let you know that we gave tours to the Blue Ribbon Committee, those that you all appointed, and your two liaisons in Commissioner Brooks and Commissioner Wynn. Those tours went exceptionally well. And the reason they went well is because we were not there to persuade. We were there to just show people what we had in our clinics, in our rooms, in the care. Everything that everybody saw was everything JPS has to offer. Everything in between, everything above, and everything below. We showed everything. So the comments that I heard from the committee members were very supportive. So I was pleased. If y'all could, I'd like for y'all to indulge me for a second, because I got this email, which is really important, about what we do at JPS, and I think this is incredible. I received this email a little bit ago, and it's from one of our employees, and it said, "I would like to email you regarding an event that occurred in the emergency department. One of our longtime employees went above and beyond, which resulted in saving of a life. We save lives every day at JPS, but this one was particularly interesting. It involved one of our EVS and one of our housekeepers. One of our clerks called the housekeeper to come over to our trauma bay and clean up the room. She noticed that the individual that she was talking to, our EVS workers, had slight slurred speech and wasn't making sense at the end of her sentences. Our employee immediately got a stretcher and found that individual in the hospital, brought them to the ED, and saved that individual's life, who could have been a stroke victim but was not." The reason I mention that to y'all is that's what makes me proud to work at JPS. Whatever is said in the paper, whatever community does or does not do, that's why I get up in the morning, and that's what makes me so proud to work with 6,500 folks. And I wanted to let y'all know that you make that possible at the court, and I appreciate everything that y'all do. So, available for any questions or comments, but I know you've got a presentation after me.
Thank you for sharing that email.
Thank you. That's powerful.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you,
Robert.
Members of the court, if we could go to item 2. Just as an introduction, you might recall that as it relates to the JPS long-range planning effort in healthcare in Tarrant County, we engaged HMA as one of our consultants. We also engaged a secondary consultant, one that would do the facility analysis. And so today we are going to ask, and that company is called Cumming. You all approved that agreement. Patrick Chambers, who is the project manager for that particular effort, is here to address the court this morning. While he may be talking a little bit about some of the results that he's found, this is mainly an introductory presentation for you all to meet Mr. Chambers and understand what Cumming is doing for our study.
Okay, self-explanatory here. Well, it is. I'm sometimes challenged with these.
Well, I'm the technical guy.
Yeah.
And that's the challenging part of the day.
Perfect. Thank you. Great. Thank you. First, let me say thank you for giving us this opportunity to provide this service for JPS and Tarrant County. Just to reflect back a moment, we did participate in the tours a couple of weeks ago, and I think what we found was a community at JPS that's pretty special, providing care. You know, we get talking about facilities, and that's what I do for a living. So I've done it for years, but it's the community and the people that really provide the care that matters. So, introduce myself. I'm Patrick Chambers, Director of Healthcare with Cumming Corporation, but I did want to take a moment to acknowledge the rest of our team. It is not just a Cumming Corporation engagement here. And we are providing project management, overall oversight of the engagement, cost estimating, and we are working on the architectural facility conditions analysis. But we have a team of subject matter experts that we have engaged to help with this report, and I want to introduce those briefly here. Percival Health Advisors, they have presented to the Blue Ribbon Committee, and I think some of you have met some of their groups. They are our strategic advisor, and they are also going to be conducting the ambulatory network plan evaluation. WHR Architects will be helping us as we look at the plans to ensure that architecturally and site that everything fits and works. Everything, whatever we recommend, is something that is buildable. EEI and MEP CE are teaming up to do the MEP portion of our evaluation. And I have to pause. I'll use some acronyms. And if some of those aren't familiar, please just let me know. I'll explain them. MEP is mechanical, electrical, plumbing. You know, the stuff behind the walls that keeps the building comfortable and keeps the building functioning. You don't see it, but you'll feel it with the cost of a project because it's significant. TCOM is going to be providing our technology review of the program and of the project. And Roll-Off International is going to help us with the medical equipment portion of that. Both IT and medical equipment are sometimes the forgotten components of projects, but they shouldn't be because they're important and they have a significant cost impact that we need to make sure we evaluate and understand. And Lurch Bates is involved helping us with the existing analysis of the elevator system, the conveyance system throughout the hospital. Just a quick, you know our scope, you selected us, but just a quick commentary on what we have, we're working on right now. We're not at the point yet where we believe it's a little premature yet to start sharing any findings. We're still in the information gathering phase, so anything we say at this point may be on partial information. So we want to hold on that, but that soon will be coming forth. The ambulatory network plan evaluation, as I said, that Percival is doing, they are in process of doing that, and they were part of the tour, so they got to see some of the facilities and have toured others, and we'll be coming forth with that. A little bit of a standalone piece, but it does impact what ultimately the recommendations we're going to make.
That will include our clinic network.
That is
community clinic.
That is correct. That's exactly what that includes. Everything from this point down is more focused on the existing campus, and it all comes together in the mix as we put together a report. But there was a number of documentation and some reports that have been completed in years past that we have access to, and we're utilizing those as our baseline and evaluating those in context with the new HMA information as well, to help put together our findings and recommendation. The architectural MEP facilities assessment is simply that. It's taking a look at the existing facilities, determining their fitness for providing healthcare needs in the future through renovation or reuse or reassignment. Medical equipment plan review, again, that's making sure that the medical equipment piece of that is important because that's a significant cost to any project, along with the technology infrastructure and systems review. Those are the things that oftentimes get left out when we, come in to manage a project and they give me a budget and I say, well, do you think about medical equipment? I said, no, this is just construction. Construction, while it's the biggest part of the project, is not the only part. So you have to account for all of the costs associated with the project. And then the project cost estimates, this is really the recommendation piece of our report, which is going to be, initially we're going to look at that existing report because it was priced and put together in 2014, and so we're going to look at that and see what we think about that in today's dollars and today's scenarios, but also look at other options, up to renovation of those existing facilities that we're going to have the analysis of and reuse or reassignment of those facilities. So that's in a short summary what our scope is going to be. And this is a project schedule, and I won't go through this in great detail, but this is a document that I provide GK and his team and Scott and his team over at JPS on a monthly basis, on a biweekly basis, and I'm due to update this tomorrow. So we'll be getting that turned out. Just shows you, what we've accomplished and what we've yet to do. We're nearing the end of our information gathering phase and moving into more where we're going to start putting those reports together, reviewing that with GK, his team, with JPS and their team, and start to come up with our final report and final recommendations. Some of the key milestones, and again, I won't go through this in great detail, but you can see some of the things that we've done and some of the things that we're planning. So obviously everything before the March 30 milestone there are things that we've done or attended, and then moving forward to May 9th, the 23rd, and into June 20th, those are the key dates that we're looking for with the Citizens Blue Ribbon Committee to present some of that information to them. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to field those.
As I'm reading the couple of pages back, are you behind in those areas like document requests and review existing documentation?
We are not. Once it's pending an update. So that was a 2 weeks ago report. Okay. I think, and I kept that open. I think we were 99% of what we needed. So there were just a few more things that we were trying to collect.
Okay.
And Patrick, that update will be tomorrow, right?
That's correct.
This is a very aggressive timeline. How are you going to, by June, have recommendations for the community clinics on what their function should be, what their needs are? How are you going to have all of that by June?
That is what we have engaged Percival, through our contract to provide, and they have done that in communities all across the country. So it is something that they are well versed at doing and can put together in pretty quick order. I don't have the details of how they're doing that, but I can certainly provide you with some more detail on that if you like.
I would like.
Okay.
How do your recommendations relate to those made by HMA? And do you look at the entire model of healthcare network at JPS? Or do you look at each building as its own function? How do you perceive this network of care strategically?
Part of the existing documentation that we're taking into consideration is the HMA report. So everything that we put forth in our plan is going to take into account the information that HMA is providing. You know, they're continuing to roll that out at current. So we will have that in place. You know, the ambulatory network study will certainly look at those clinics in the community. The bigger project piece, if you will, is going to focus mostly on the main campus because that's where those existing reports were.
Will the ambulatory care report, the community clinic report, point out areas where additional clinic locations might be appropriate?
Yes, that's part of what that report is.
Will it include a utilization review of the existing clinics to determine whether those are where they need to be?
Yes.
For the court's information, HMA and Cumming, they are not working in silos. Right now, they are collaborating. And so they're sharing information from both vendors. And our goal is to move forward with the eventual recommendations from the Blue Ribbon Committee, taking in both elements of Cumming and also HMA and creating that final report.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you,
Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. Members of the court, the final item is item C, which is the legislative issues. Mr. Mendez has included the memo in your backup material. We'll be happy to try to answer any questions you may have regarding that document. Your Honor, that's all we have at this time.
Okay, then we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, 087 of the Texas Government Code.
From Houston, from Sam Houston.
Yale versus TCU.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking Yale might win out on that.
Her story is amazing.
Unless she's one that doesn't want to
Single
leave
mom.
home.
Yeah.
Her older brother has mental issues, so she takes care of her
Might very
mom
well not look,
and the older brother.
but
So
she
she-
needs to.
You gotta have her speak at your symposium.
Having returned from our closed session, there being no business to conduct at this time, we are adjourned.
Okay.
My light is out up